Hello everybody, it's Laura Husband here from Hairdressers Journal International, and I've got a super exciting session for this afternoon because weddings are back on the cards. We can actually start making plans for bridal hair at weddings again. So for this session on the future of the bridal hair industry, we have got award-winning bridal hair expert and salon owner Sheree Thompson, who's going to be sharing her thoughts on the bridal hair industry, the trends to look out for in the coming months, what to expect over the next year or so, and following the growing number of postponed weddings due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So it's great to have you with us today, Sheree.
Oh, thank you so much, Laura, for inviting me on. I'm so excited for this chat today. It's something I'm really, really passionate about. So yeah, we've got loads to chat about, haven't we?
Most definitely. So yeah, I guess if anyone's tuning in and has any questions for Sheree, please do add them into the comments and we'll try and get through those as well. But obviously it's quite a big topic, isn't it, the bridal hair industry, which has been closed for a number of months due to lockdowns. So I can only imagine, Sheree, that it's going to be crazy once you get up and running again.
Yeah, I mean, when we was chatting backstage, then every day I'm getting all sorts of different emails and inquiries and Instagram messages, because now there's an end in sight. People can start planning ahead. They're not having to put their lives on hold for much longer. You know, like yourself, you've had to wait a year or over a year for your wedding, and now we can sort of start planning official dates, get everything confirmed and start moving forward and getting excited again. So I'm excited to be able to connect with my brides again and start planning the days and getting everything arranged and booked in.
Definitely. Yeah, from a completely selfish point of view, I'm just as excited about the bridal hair industry getting up and running again. Oh, yeah. Fantastic. And we've got Sophie has just said the best bridal expert in the world is here. So lots of love for you here, Sheree.
Thank you. Thank you.
Maybe should we kick off with the challenges that are going to be present for the kind of the upcoming months? Because obviously the return to weddings is a staggered approach, isn't it? With 6, 15, 30 before it's unrestricted.
That's right. I mean, the main date that's going to be a big change for us is when we can go restriction free from weddings, all being well, from the 21st of June. So any dates after that, like I was saying to you, from June, July time, for me, all of these wedding bookings are coming in, and like all my weekends, but not just weekends, now midweek weddings are getting booked up because people need to select their dates. They don't want to have to wait another year to have their, you know, the date that they want on a weekend. So people are arranging weekday weddings as well. I mean, already, not last year, the year before, people were starting to do that a little bit more, but I think we'll definitely see a big trend on weekday weddings moving forward because of all the extra dates people are fitting in. So yeah, from the 21st of June, we'll notice a big difference when people can have restriction free. But from the 17th of May to the 21st of June, we've got the 30 guests. Up until then, I think it's the 15, if I'm correct.
Yeah, no, that's right, isn't it? And then it's 6 in that period just beforehand. But I can't imagine many weddings will be going ahead.
There is, yeah. I mean, my sister got married last September. She had the micro wedding. So people are still doing it because they don't want to like keep putting their lives on hold, and it is possible, and you can have alternatives. There is ways around things, and you can have these small micro weddings. They, like my sister, she could only have the 6 guests, but it was still so like intimate and important, and like we still celebrated like it was a special day, that the most important day, and it didn't really distract a lot. So it depends on how people value it and how they want to move forward. I think there's more options now, which is a really good thing.
That's a great point, Sheree. Do you predict that there'll be a continuing trend for the micro wedding and double celebrations, where you have a micro wedding followed by an after party celebration, and how will that affect the bridal hair industry?
Yeah. Hugely. That's a really, really important point to consider, and great for us as bridal artists as well, because we'll not only be invited to the wedding hair and the wedding party hair for either a smaller or a micro wedding, but when people can have, moving forward, if they can have a bigger celebration or a huge, you know, big party or a big exact venue that they definitely want, I think a lot more brides will then do perhaps a year on and do another really bigger special event to celebrate that, especially now when we've not had any celebrations for literally a year. to have like their special wedding, and then to be able to plan a really big party and an event to really celebrate that as well with all their friends and family. I think a lot of weddings will be doing that in the future, which is great for us as artists, because we'll have 2 wedding appointments for each bride for in a lot of occasions.
So you'll get repeat business, which I guess is not common for the bridal hair industry. You don't really want a bride to be getting married to somebody else again, but if they're getting married to the same person with a kind of an after ceremony or something.
Yeah, so it's like a whole other like route of opportunities, which is brilliant to be able to offer that to your bride, to say if you're planning another celebration, then of course I'll be there to help you to style your hair and have it perfectly as we have for your wedding as well. So yeah, that's amazing.
Do you think we've had a few people saying midweek weddings are definitely going to be popular, and Zoe has said she's getting booked for 2 dates for one bride, so it's a super exciting time.
Yes, yeah.
And we are going to touch on trends. Somebody's asked us, we've got a few great questions about trends, which we are going to touch on. Tips for dealing with bridezillas, which we will touch on. But just speaking about the micro trend and the second celebration, do you think there will then be a trend for having different hairstyles for the different events?
I think, yeah, I mean, definitely I can see for future weddings, I think it's going to be a really celebrated event, especially when we can do bigger weddings. And I think it's really going to focus on this once in a lifetime opportunity, this fairy tale, this glamour opportunity. So I think if they can set the scene for their wedding and then set the scene again for their special event, it could mirror each other, or it could go a different way, and they may want to celebrate a certain style, like it being a fairy tale or a glamorous event. So I think we could definitely, if they're still wearing the same wedding dress, we still want to keep that theme, but we can definitely alter the hair to complement their theme for their second party. And I think that's great, so that you can offer that advice to your bride and say, I can work with you, and we can work on the best way that we can style your hair to complement your event as well. I think that would be great.
Brilliant. And I guess because we have got the different stages for weddings reopening, what advice would you give to anyone tuning in who is working with brides who are feeling particularly anxious or stressed, or maybe is just a bit of a bridezilla, as somebody said, they wanted some tips for dealing with bridezillas? I guess there's a real mix of emotions that will be coming into play with weddings from when they do start again this year and next year, because everyone's had multiple dates and it's been quite a stressful situation. What hints and tips and advice do you have for stylists dealing with brides feeling that way?
Yeah, that's a really, really great point. And I think how you carry and present yourself, and the persona that you approach your bride with on all types of communication, whether it's an email, a phone call, a video call, every way you present yourself to your bride, I think it should primarily be that, one, on a professional level, but two, on a way that you are happy and confident that you can take that stress away from them. You can help them plan, you can give them a schedule, you can make sure everything runs smoothly, you can take all of that worry away from them with planning their bridal hair party. And you sort of take control of that, not in a bossy way, but in a way that you say, look, I want everything to be perfect, I want everything to run smoothly, I can put this schedule together, we can plan it all out so it will all run perfectly, everyone will know their place and what they're doing, and I can email this to you, I can call like whoever you want me to call and speak to them. And you sort of take control, and not only that helps you in your planning, but also takes that pressure and worry off the bride. And if you're going to explain to your bride that you're going to help everything run smoothly, it's not run smoothly and perfectly, but also give them the day of their dreams, the wedding hair of their dreams, no one will ever say, I don't want that. They all will say, yes, please, can you help me? And that's how you can move forward and say, this is how I can help you, and have this plan in place, and sort of take control of that and not let them be too worried or stressed. You deal with that, and then everything then will fall into place.
So make sure they know you are the professional, you know what they're doing. Yeah. They just have to stay calm and listen to you.
Yeah, it's just like
Yeah.
any colour service in a salon. If you've got a colour correction in, you want them to trust you and trust the journey that you need to take them on, and trust your advice. And it's exactly the same, if not more important, for your bride as well, that they want to be able to trust you. And if you're implementing that trust straight away, they will definitely realise that you're going to give them that service that they want, and they will definitely trust you.
Definitely. We've had a few questions coming in, Sheree, which I'm going to group together because I think they're great questions and they all tap into the same thing. We've been talking briefly about the ongoing trend for the micro wedding followed by a bigger celebration, which we can't see necessarily going anywhere because some couples have just decided, you know what, this is what we want to do now, we're just going to go for it. And a few people have said, in that situation, what would you do about pricing? Would you give that bride a discount for the secondary bigger celebration if they've had a micro wedding and usually for both? How would you work out that pricing?
Yeah, that's a brilliant question. And I think what is so important is we've got to realise that a bridal service, especially in a hair service, is a really elite professional service that is different from any other hair service. And you do have to really elevate yourself as a bridal stylist and put yourself in that elite category and realise the importance, just like exactly the same as the wedding dress. The hair is what people see, look at, what they remember, what is photographed, what they're going to look back on. And that is just as important as, if not more so, than anything else when you're putting a style together. The hair, I'm sure everyone will agree, makes that whole outfit, that whole style, that whole feeling of the wedding and the whole event. So I definitely wouldn't reduce your prices when you come into that, because it's all about that elite service. It's all about your time. And if they're booking 2 bridal events, I would treat it as exactly the same as how you would be charging 2 weddings separately. And having all of this time that people have had to unfortunately delay weddings, people have got this in their budgets now for when they're planning and moving forward, especially if they're having midweek weddings where they could be getting discounts elsewhere. They will have this in their budgets, that they will see the importance of it and definitely not question the price. You know, if they want to look that good and feel that important and that amazing on their second event, it won't be any question that you do need to reduce the prices.
That's a great point. So just appreciate that you are the professional and you are worthy of the price that you're charging, and they obviously want you again for a reason, don't they?
Yeah. I mean, if they fall in love with their hair like they fall in love with the dress, they'll never say, oh no, I want a cheaper dress that doesn't look as nice. They want to feel that amazing. It's all about that feeling, you know, and giving them that confidence.
We've had someone message to say they haven't been offering discounts for their second wedding bookings, but often the first one is just the bride for the micro wedding, and then the second date is for the whole bridal party. So I guess you make more money as well.
That could change the price, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, maybe a package deal if you're doing more kind of mother of the bride and bridesmaids and that kind of thing.
Exactly, yeah.
Fantastic. And we spoke before about the challenges that come with kind of brides feeling anxious and stressed and all the issues around restrictions, and we can't wait for that 21st of June date when weddings, touch wood, will not have any restrictions to them. But do you have any suggestions or ideas for helping to plan the itinerary for bridal hairstylists on the day of a wedding?
Yeah, I mean, I myself will, I've got so many checklists that I have that are important to me for when I'm packing my bridal kit and also planning and booking a wedding, and everything I need to go through with the bride and discuss with the bride to make sure I can then build a perfect itinerary for them. And I think an important one to consider, especially with any COVID restrictions, is to contact the venue ahead of time and ask what their guidelines are, because they could differ slightly from one to another. So I think you need to get familiar with that and call ahead of time for that, and also to liaise with the wedding planner, because a lot of venues will have a dedicated wedding planner for that will be speaking with the bride and taking care of all the events. So if you could then liaise with them, because they're going to be super helpful anyway, you could say, oh, I'll be there styling the hair on the wedding morning. Can you explain what the guidelines are, where I'll be going, how many people are allowed in the room, you know, what the restrictions are. And it's almost like you're taking your salon to the wedding. So you would sort of treat it like how I would in my salon. I would make sure I'm not overcrowding the room, but there's enough space for everyone to be apart. everyone is like wearing masks accordingly, and you're sanitizing everything. So as long as you've got that plan and you know that you're going to have the space you need, and you can plan all of that in advance, and you could liaise directly with the venue and the wedding planner, and they'll definitely be able to help you. And I think that will be really important.
Fantastic. We've had somebody just message and comment, Marion, who said she's had no forward bridal hair appointments booked from weddings that were cancelled from last year. She's wondering if maybe they're waiting longer for new dates.
Yeah, I mean, depends on how many she had that were booked. When I'm planning weddings, I'll take their name and phone number and email address, and it's always good to just still touch base with them and still have contact with them, even if they're not then want to plan and go ahead with you because the dates have changed. To have that point of contact, I think, is really important. So you could just say, just checking in, just confirming all my wedding dates for this year and next year. Have you got any ideas? Are you rescheduling, or have you got a confirmed date yet? And it just puts it then in the front of their minds. I've had the same myself, where some brides are still waiting on confirmation for what they can do going ahead. But now we've got more of a structure in place with dates in mind, all being well, especially coming from the 21st of June, then a lot of my brides now are confirming, saying, okay, I do have a confirmed date now. Are you available? Can we go ahead and confirm and book? So I think it's just sort of just having that courtesy contact with all of your brides that you've had previously booked, and just seeing what's happening. Because when they're worried and stressed and confused and they don't know what to do or say, they probably are a little bit afraid to get in touch with you. So definitely, I think that's a good point to contact them and see where they are, and then they've got you in their mind then for when they do have a confirmed date.
Fantastic. And for all of those bridal stylists that are tuning in, and obviously salons aren't back yet, so even if you are a bridal stylist that works in a salon as well, hopefully you've got a bit of time before reopening your salon to sort of prepare for getting back into that bridal game. Are there any websites or Instagram accounts or any advice for education, Sheree, that you'd recommend for people that just feel like they need to get back into their groove again with their bridal styling?
Yeah, I think we've got, is it 5 weeks or so left now? We've got
countdown is on.
The timer's on.
For England anyway, we know it's different in different parts of the country. Yeah,
for the UK, we know that this sort of, like I said, timer is set, and this is the time now. This is this precious time that we can prepare ourselves, because it's only natural that we're all going to be nervous and anxious to get back to work. I know I'm going to be exactly the same myself, and I myself trying to educate myself and watch all of these online tutorials, do all this education that is so ready available online with platforms like this on HJ and other platforms on Instagram and Facebook. Then if it's bridal hair that you do want to sort of get to feel more confident again, then there's so many online education platforms that you can look at and get involved in, and free groups as well. Like I've got a couple of free Facebook groups, I've got my Instagram as well, and I've got my online education. So it's great just to refresh yourself and start getting a little bit more confident, start knowing what you're planning for, how you can get prepared, how you can approach your brides, how you can speak to them. And virtual consultations as well, if it's not always possible to do a consultation in the salon right now. I think offering virtual consultations with your brides as well, just for that point of contact, for you to sort of see their hair, ask all those right questions. I think that's another really important point to think of while we have this time now. Yeah, I think education is so vital right now.
Brilliant. And I have to say, we've got Guy Creamer tuning in. He's just said good afternoon, everyone. So thank you very much. I don't know if you know him, but he does the creme de la creme of bridal styling as well, doesn't he, Sheree?
We're honoured. Oh, thank you for watching.
Yeah, so thank you for tuning in. If you've got anything you'd like to share, Guy, please do. No, fantastic, Sheree. So yes, so where did we get to? So we've covered quite a lot of ground already, haven't we? What we haven't touched on yet, which I know everyone would be super keen to talk about, is your thoughts on trends in terms of bridal styling and where you think it's going to go once weddings do start going again. Do you have any kind of predictions?
Yeah, this is what I'm so excited about, because I think moving forward, brides are now when they do have something planned in place, I think they're definitely going to go, they're going to concentrate on this once in a lifetime opportunity, having this really important day that they can plan and celebrate that could have been delayed for a year or if not longer, to have this sort of fairy tale dream come true, and really focusing on the romance and the glamour of hair and how they're styling their venue. I think it's really going to be a highlight of their wedding day. So I think moving forward, when you're working with brides and they've got all of these dreams, they've got all their inspiration, I think the glamour, the fairy tale, the romance side of things are going to fit in really, really well. And then it's then talking to your brides and adapting that to their theme and how it's going to work, like with their styling. And I definitely see a really strong prediction for natural glamorous hair, and definitely a really on-trend look that I absolutely love is the bridal ponytail. That's so versatile and adaptable. It could be really glamorous, it could be quite boho as well. And that sort of bridal pony is definitely a very on-trend look that so many of my brides are attracted to. And I think that's really exciting style that we can see growing, and people are interested in a lot for this year and for next year as well. And that's what I'm excited about, and that's what I love, that planning side of things with your bride and knowing what's going to work and what their dreams are and making that come true.
Definitely. And Joanna said she's been doing hairstyles on her mannequin head that she sent brides as photos for them to choose which styles they like the look of. And she also said that she absolutely loves your education, your bridal hair education, Sheree.
Oh,
so
bless her, thank you.
Just going to throw that in as well. She said she definitely recommends you for that. If anyone wants to find you incidentally, Sheree, on Instagram, what would be the Instagram account they should use?
Yeah, my Instagram is Siren Hair Art.
Siren Hair Art. So if you want to have a look at what Sheree does, you can definitely check that out. And what you were saying there about trends is really interesting, Sheree, because I guess a lot of brides-to-be, myself included, I've got roots, I've got super long hair that really needs a cut. Do you think it's going to be more important to work with your brides-to-be in the coming months on their journey to getting their hair ready for the big day, and not just the big day itself? Is that going to grow in importance over the coming months, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, for me as a bridal stylist, having that journey with your bride should start as early as possible. But obviously, depending on when their wedding is actually booked, it'll be depending on what sort of window you have then to work with that bride, whether it could be June, July this year or later this year or next year. Then you'll have that window of opportunity of how you're going to work with your bride and how you're going to advise them. But I think that journey is really important to sort of, even if they don't live in that area or they don't see you, having that point of contact, asking them about their hair, asking them about their plans, asking about, you know, how their hairline falls or what things they're going to wear in their hair, if they've got a veil, all things like this will then sort of take them on this journey, and you'll be there to advise them as to how to move forward to give them the best look. And I know with lockdown that a lot of people have decided to go a little bit more natural with their hair, with their colour, or embrace their natural texture, or they've grown out their hair, they've grown out their fringes. All of this has changed so much, so it'll be great then to see where they are now and what's important to them, and then how you can move them forward onto their journey. But I think the most important part is to look after the condition of the hair and explain how important that is for when you photograph the hair on the wedding day. If the hair is in that really beautiful, super condition and the colours glistening, the style's like really perfect, that's how they're going to get that really gorgeous, glistening, eye-catching hair. And it's good to give all of that advice to your brides, and that's how they'll definitely trust you and be clients for life as well, not always just for their wedding day. Once you have this trust, they'll definitely be clients for life as well, and that's what's so lovely.
Definitely, that's great advice. I mean, Lynette has just said before COVID she would have met her brides in a local coffee shop and chatted through all different ideas, and she really misses that.
Yeah.
Would you recommend in the meantime doing Zoom consultations with brides-to-be? How would you recommend getting that plan or journey in place ahead of their wedding day, while we've kind of still within the realms of lockdowns and things gradually easing up?
Yeah, I think definitely the Zoom or any video calls is a great way. You can meet your brides, you can talk to them, you can visually see their hair, you can ask them all the questions, you can share inspiration photos and start building mood boards with them. I've got a call with a bride that I'm styling. I'm travelling to York. I live in the Midlands. I'm travelling to York to do the wedding in July. So that's really exciting that she's asked me to go all that way to do her wedding hair. And because we are so far apart, we are doing a video call and we're going to arrange that. And I think offering that to your brides and knowing that you have this value in them and you're interested in them and you want to sort of start this journey with them, and then you could have your record card, you can still have all of your notes and everything that you need to start planning and preparing and keeping a record then for your bride. And it's always good as well to add on this extra professional service and put everything in an email, everything you've discussed, all of your plans, even if you haven't got a definite decision, just keep everything on an email trail as well. And that again gives you that connection and knows that they know that you understand them and you understand their journey and you're working with them as well. So there's so many things that you can think of.
Definitely. And Sheree, you are a award-winning bridal hairstylist, as well as an educator, as well as a salon owner. So
Yeah.
what advice would you give to anyone tuning in on how to juggle it all? And obviously, as the wedding season does get closer and more postponed weddings all need to be squished in, what's your advice for making sure you've got all those balls juggling in the air?
Well, as a salon owner and a wedding stylist as well, I think it's definitely super important to be really organised and plan everything. I have my online diary that, I mean, I could just control all of that. So that for this whole year and all next year, any inquiries or any bookings I'll put into that, so I know I'm not going to double book myself. We'll have email trails of all of the wedding inquiries and everything on an email there, so I can all just bring up their name. Everything is all in there, so I have all of their details to hand. I won't lose anything, all of their quotes, everything we've talked about, the timelines, all of the planning is in there. And then I'll have a written record card as well for every bride that I'll keep in a separate file as well. So just being prepared. I don't think it's too much to handle at all, as long as you have the dedicated time for your salon and for your brides as well. I think all of it, for me anyway, just goes hand in hand. But for those that are just specifically wedding stylists and bridal stylists and don't work in a salon, obviously they'll probably be even busier than I am, because they'll just be dedicating all of their time for their brides. Because that, if you're that busy, it's definitely a full-time job. So I'm sure they can understand how important it is to be organised.
Do you have a kind of, how does it work for you, Sheree? Do you have like a maximum limit on the amount of weddings you try and do in any given year, or does it really vary?
Yeah, I mean, it can totally vary. This year I haven't actually counted how many I've got booked in already, and for next year I've got quite a few, which is the most I've ever had a year in advance. And I've even got some bookings for 2023 as well, which is amazing, because people are now planning and booking, that, you know, that people are really jumping on this. The bridal boom is upon us, it's happening, it's coming, and I can definitely see the evidence of that, which is to me exciting. So I can't remember the question now.
We were talking about whether you have a maximum amount of weddings you would have. Yeah.
I think because I'm a salon owner, I do have to obviously plan in my salon time as well. So most weekends I will be doing weddings. And now if I do have a midweek wedding, I'll make sure I've got the time in my salon as well. And if I do get wedding inquiries that overlap that time, then there will be ones that I won't be able to take on, because I've got dedicated time for the salon and dedicated time for my weddings.
Brilliant. And I know from our previous chats that we've had, Sheree, you keep your salon business and your bridal business separate, don't you?
Yeah.
And do you have any hints or tips for how to promote a successful bridal business, and how to grab hold of all these brides to be that are eager to get new wedding dates in the diary?
Yeah, I think for me anyway, it works well keeping my bridal business separate, because it's such a unique niche market. I think you can't just like channel in saying you're a colourist, you're a cutting specialist as well. I think if you channel it in being specific that you are a bridal specialist, and that's how, you know, people will see your work and how you're going to stand out as well. So I think, you know, your Instagram, your Facebook, your website, or, you know, whatever you use, like your Facebook pages as well, whatever you use to advertise your bridal business should solely be for your bridal business. But you can refer that into your salon work. So all of my salon work is separate, but I will advertise bridal styling available, and then I'll have a totally separate area for that, because it is such a unique niche part of the market. I want to keep that really, really focused, and I think that's definitely how you stand out and how you can build a great portfolio, and you don't get confusing conflicts of interest. Then it's just people know and recognize you as a bridal stylist, and I think that's important. Well, for me anyway, I feel that's important.
Brilliant, Sheree. We've had a comment here from Christina saying, even without COVID, or even beyond the days of COVID, when we get beyond the pandemic, she wants to keep hold of the online consultations.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's great because we've all learned and adapted along the way, haven't we? And like having education like this that you're doing, it's amazing. We're reaching out to all these incredible artists. We're sharing all of our skills and knowledge. And all of the online industry now is so big, and it shows how successful and how accessible it is to everyone. Like the amount of people I've reached worldwide is incredible, and I never would have had that opportunity before. So it is incredible, and I think a lot of people really value the success of that, and we definitely will be keeping that moving forward.
Fantastic. And then Lynette, she said, you're a girl after her own heart. She loves being organised as well. So she's loved, and someone else said they absolutely love the idea of keeping hold of the online consultations. I know, speaking of organisation, Sheree, I know that you have like a bridal hair wedding checklist, don't you?
Yeah.
That you kind of share with others, that you're happy to share with others for planning the day of the wedding itself. Do you have any tips or advice that you could share with us from your checklist?
Yeah, there's two main checklists. One is all my bridal kit and everything I need to pack and check before I travel to a venue. Obviously, if they come into me to the salon, I'll make sure everything's organised and ready, but I won't have to worry about packing everything and taking everything with me. But if I'm going to a venue, I want to know that whatever opportunity I might be faced with, I want to be prepared and ready. And I don't ever want to say, oh, I can't do that because I haven't got this or that. And over the years, I've learned everything I'll need to take, no matter how obscure it is. I've learned all of those things that I'll need with me. And I've made a checklist that I'll always go through, obsessively go through and double check again. And I've even stopped my car on the way to a venue to check again I've got something, even though I know it's there. I have done that because that's how obsessed I am. So yeah, having this checklist really does help you plan and know. For me, it's comfort for me because I know that I've got this list and it works and I can check everything off. And it's just the kit list is just simple things like all of those products that you're going to need for that client and that bridal party. You know what their hair's like, you know what the texture's like, you'll know what prep you've explained to do for them. But even if they haven't done it, you'll know that you'll be prepared either way. You'll have backups for this or that. You'll have like extension cables if you go into a hotel and they've got one plug, or, you know, extra mirrors and, you know, all of these things that are important. And especially during thinking of the COVID rules as well, what's going to be important for sanitising for health and safety reasons, and having fresh items for certain people or sanitising equipment, that's really important. So all that's on my checklist. And then I do have another checklist with how to plan a wedding and a schedule with your bride. So everything you need to know to ask them, like the venue, where they're getting ready, are they all getting ready together, are they traveling to a venue, the postcode, double checking the postcode, ringing ahead the venue and checking parking, you know, things like that, making sure you've got the petrol ready. You don't want to be thinking, oh, it's longer than what I thought and I'm really running out of petrol. You want all of this planned and organised, and all of that is on my list and checklist. And so I know then I can build a perfect itinerary and have a time list for the bride that I email to them, but I'll not only do that for the bride, but also the whole party. If they have their mum, the groom's mum, the bridesmaids, their friends, any guests, I'll know them all by name, and I'll have them all on an itinerary, and everyone will know where they need to be at what time. Because like I said when we were talking earlier, if you explain this all has to happen to make sure you have your perfect day, and I want this to be special, I don't want you to worry about a thing, and this is what's going to make everything run perfectly, they will say, right, Sheree said this, Sheree said that, Sheree said it, you've got to be here. And they'll never like question or argue it. Or the only thing that might happen is say, oh, can I just swap places with this person because I'm not ready yet? So as long as this is going ahead and you've got your plan in place and you're organised, you've got enough time, then it will always work.
Brilliant, Sheree. We've got a lot of love in the room talking about your kind of dedication to being organised and your ethic for working. Luke has said, I've been lucky enough to do a live with Sheree over lockdown. We video called the night before, made sure everything was perfect. Sheree's work ethic is absolutely inspiring. Sheree's always super organised and a role model to any businesswoman out there. So that's fantastic feedback there, Sheree.
Thank you so much.
Christina says that as well. I love Sheree as well. Her passion, humbled character, and lovely way of talking. Plus, you're gorgeous, Sheree. There's lots of love here for you.
Oh, bless them. Silver lighting.
Oh, and we've had someone say a sewing kit is a must-have.
I have that on my list. Yes,
yeah,
I've been there, done that.
We've also had a great question, Sheree, which is about what are your must-have go-to styling products for brides?
Oh, good question. I'm an ASP ambassador for ASP, Affinage Salon Professional, and their mode styling range I absolutely love. One, it's vegan friendly, it's cruelty free, but the performance of the products, for me, I know I'll get exactly the look I'll need when I use these products. And I've got my favourite products that I could never travel anywhere without. And it's the same for everyone else. I'll have their favourite shine spray, their favourite hairspray, their favourite wax spray. So for me, definitely the waxwork spray from ASP is a must, that I can't style anyone's hair without that. It's like a dry styling product that I use for, I think I do pretty much use it on everyone, because it's a great product to enhance and build a style and work on manipulation and movement and softness and texture. It sort of does everything. So that's definitely my top favourite. And let's see, there's the heat shield, the salt spray is a big one I use all the time for texture, but having that flexibility is important to me and not be sticky. And then a really lovely flexible hairspray as well is a good one for finishing and putting a style together, but without it looking too heavy as well. That's important, and giving it a beautiful shine.
Brilliant. Another question was, do you prefer using straighteners or wands to create waves for brides?
Oh, that's a good question. I've got so many tools, and it does entirely depend on the hair and how the hair responds to the type of curl you want to achieve. I love the curl bar, the Hot Tools curl bar. That's one of my favourites, and that comes in different sizes. And the Hot Tools Evolve or the GHD Gold Styler, they're my favourites as well for styling. And it can give a soft wave, it can give like a trendy sort of beach wave, or a wand if you want like a tighter curl. I don't use them very often unless you're doing something a little bit more detailed, and depends on the hair type as well. So that's a difficult one, because I think I would have to have like an array to choose from to know what's going to work. And when we've done all of this prep work and I know what I need in advance, I'd always know what I'm taking on the day, but I'll probably have backups as well, that I'll never be stuck without anything.
Oh, brilliant. It sounds like you bring it all with you as well, Sheree, just to be on the safe side, which is great.
I have my whole kit that I take with me, but I'll probably have like a backup one in my car if ever, like something happened. You just don't know, do you, what could happen? And then you think, oh right, don't worry, I've got that in my car, just run out and get it. You don't want to think, oh no, I've got half an hour to drive to my salon, or so I'll have everything that I know I'm going to need, but I'll probably have like a little backup kit as well with me.
Brilliant. We're getting more questions coming in. We were going to start wrapping up, but there's people still asking questions, Sheree. What do you use to carry it all? Do you use vanity cases, bags? How do you cart it all around?
Yeah, I've got this professional kit that's on wheels, and it's got a vanity case and then a bag that you can take off as well, so a separate vanity case. So it's almost like a suitcase, but a stylish one for professional use. So that's what I'll take with me for all of my kit, and then I'll have like my hand mirrors fit into that, which is great. But if I need like a bigger mirror, I'll just carry that separate. But most of it fit in this professional kit, because I want it obviously to look professional, and for me to easily be able to carry it and move it around. And if I need to separate it to fit it somewhere, that's easily done as well.
Brilliant. And we are getting quite close to the end, but I did have a couple more questions for you, Sheree, before we do finish. Firstly, the 21st of June, that's when unrestricted weddings have been placed into the roadmap and for reopening in England. Obviously, it's different throughout different parts of the UK. But what are your thoughts on still making sure you've got sanitizers, masks, face shields, etc. in your kit for when weddings do originally become unrestricted, to make sure brides-to-be and their families still feel safe and secure?
Yeah, I think that's a really important thing to consider, because not only do you want to feel safe, you want your bridal party to feel safe as well. And I think this is definitely an important part that you do need to go over, and that is on my checklist of questions as well that I'll need to ask them, is to what they're comfortable with as well. And just exactly the same as you would be in the salon, if you've got someone who's vulnerable or that they don't feel safe and you want them to feel at ease, then if you do need to take extra precautions and you do need to like treat them a little bit differently, then definitely I think just go above and beyond and be safe and professional, and being planned ready for that is, you know, it's absolutely fine. And you want them to feel safe, you don't ever want them to feel that you've put them in jeopardy in any way. So just having that professional service is really important.
Brilliant. We've got someone saying they want you to do their wedding hair when they eventually set a date for their wedding. So.
Oh, message me.
Brilliant. And just to wrap up then, because I knew we would go over time with this because there's so much ground to cover with this, Sheree, but you've been absolutely amazing. Do you have any final thoughts of words of wisdom on the future of the bridal hair industry and what we can expect within the next year or so, and with the craziness of postponed weddings all being squished into a shorter time frame?
Yeah, I think it's definitely, and what I continually talk about, is definitely a bridal boom. It's something we're excited about, something that the whole industry is excited about. I think a really, really important point to consider is, and how all of our clients will value this as well, is supporting small businesses. So reach out to your local and businesses that are in the wedding industry, whether it's a florist, a photographer, wedding accessory, I'm trying to think what else I've made notes on. Yeah, like your venues, places like that. Reach out to those local businesses and see what you can do to help each other out and advertise each other, and be supportive. And when you are talking to a bride, you could probably say, oh, because you're local, I could recommend this, or, you know, this service or that service. And I think that's so important. I think brides as well as clients, I know when I talk to my clients, even just shopping, they want to support their local boutiques, their local businesses, their small businesses, because they know that they're the ones that's been hit the hardest and struggled the most. And I think if you put this in mind to your brides as well, that they'll definitely be on board to support that. So I think that's a great way to view the bridal industry, to support each other. And also, because we've got this bridal boom, let's just take advantage of it, celebrate it, and just get ahead of it and be prepared. I think it's an exciting part to, even though it's been a huge struggle, I think it's exciting to have that end in mind and to be able to start planning ahead and supporting other businesses as well.
Great advice there, Sheree. And obviously there's also a lot of them Facebook groups, local bridal Facebook groups and all sorts that you can get involved with for recommendations. That's fantastic, Sheree. No, it's been absolutely fantastic, really fascinating, and a fantastic session, and a super exciting time for the bridal industry, like you say. Definitely. And even the fact you could, you know, mix up your services to include double celebrations and the different changes that are going to happen moving forward as well. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the opportunities, you know, we're out there, and we've just got to really understand how the market's changed, you know, and how people's mindset have changed.
So understanding that and really sort of celebrating that with your brides and with other businesses as well, I think it's going to be really beneficial. So yeah, I'm definitely all up for supporting others and helping people celebrate and have the day of their dreams.
Exciting times ahead, and you're all going to be super busy, so you need to get the
Yeah,
rest in while you
wait.
can.
Yeah.
There's been so much love in the room for you, Sheree.
Thank you.
And if anyone did want to find out more about you and everything that you do, what would be the best way of getting hold of you?
I mean, on my Instagram, Siren Hair Art, you can check the link in my bio. All of my educational websites and links are in there, for my Facebook as well, or my Facebook account, Sheree Thompson Siren, and you can contact me there. And I've got other education and bridal industry Facebook, like free accounts that you can join just to celebrate the industry and celebrate inspiration for the industry as well. So yeah, just DM me on any of those social medias and I'm happy to help and advise anyone.
Brilliant. I'm sure quite a few people will. Vivian and Laura both shouting out, saying how amazing and what an inspiration you are as well, Sheree. So thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for giving up your time to share all of your words of wisdom with us as we get ready for weddings to get going again.
I've really enjoyed it. So thank you for having me, Laura, and thank you for everyone that's watched as well.
Thank you so much. Speak to you very soon, Sheree. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.